Hey everyone, you're listening to Headset Abuse. This is the podcast for the 28th of August 2015. I'm your host, Mark Gibson, this week because Ali is out. With me, as always, is Mr. Darren Fotheringham.
Hello.
How's things, Darren?
Things are alright. How's things, Mark?
Yeah, all right. Once again, we have been left in control.
We have the buttons with all the noises, have free reign today, so expect plenty of nice hats and random noises and sounds.
I think that's pretty much every week, though, isn't it? We just
You've
won't have
got,
someone yelling at us for doing it.
I don't know, Ali's got you pretty well trained, man. You don't do it when Ali hosts anymore. You did it at first, and now he's put down his foot because somehow he's still in charge of everything. I still don't know how this has happened. I've tried to figure this out. Why is Ali in charge?
I think it's because I left Japan, and I was like, right, well, I won't be able to organize it. So Ali, you're there to do it. So it's just kind of carried over.
We never did.
We did it once, and then that was it. But
yeah.
Anyway, so how have you spent the last week, Mr. Fotheringham?
I would love to say that it's super exciting and stuff, but it's been pretty boring. Not much time for gaming. Lots of trying to look for work and speaking to people on phones and stuff. So
yeah, I have barely seen you on
various
things.
I'm usually I give my weekly update on how things are going on PSO and Dark Souls. Have I even played Dark Souls this week? I don't think I've played Dark Souls this week. I might have played it a tiny little bit, like on Sunday, maybe. But apart from that, I've had no time to play it.
You've just been staring longingly at your calendar, waiting down for Metal Gear.
Yeah. I mean, actually, that's what I've been doing. I've been playing Metal Gear Ground Zeroes.
Have you?
Yeah. I'll just go into what I've been doing because I've not really done much else apart from that. It says looking for work, and that's stuff that I'm sure people don't want to hear about. Is me applying for jobs. Yeah, I decided that because Metal Gear Phantom Pain's coming out, I should finish off everything that I haven't done in Ground Zeroes. So things like getting all the XOF patches, rescuing all the various prisoners. I now have all the side missions unlocked, I believe. All I need to do on the main mission is get an S rank. I keep getting A rank, can't quite break through to an S rank. So I just need to get an S rank on that, then I can move on to all the extra missions. And my understanding, it's not been confirmed, but a few people have hinted that if you unlock stuff in Ground Zeroes, then the save file will carry through in some way towards Phantom Pain and unlock various things for you.
I heard that as well.
In the same way that there was something for... I can't remember what game it was, but it was another game, I think one of the PSP games, where if you did something on one of the previous games, it would carry forward some of the other stuff. And so there's a mission that you have to save someone from a camp that's not related to the main mission, and it's Hideo Kojima you have to save. And previously, there's been a previous mission where you had to do that, and for one of the other games, and when he carried.
Were you saving him from Konami headquarters? Is that what's happened there?
It could be, yeah. It's actually not the prison camp anymore. It's just you're heading into Konami HQ. You have to save
Kojima parlor somewhere, and he's mopping up a bathroom.
He's doubled over, building pachinko machines. No, but in a previous game, you had to save him from stuff, and when you got him into your main base, he had like a super high intelligence stat, so it was really good for doing certain things. And there's a lot of rumors flying around that if you do the same thing for this game, then you'll have this really good intel scout for starting off straight away. Plus, various weapon unlocks that I don't know about the weapons, but there's a lot of chatter about different people you save. There's about 20 people in total, I think, you can recruit in Ground Zeroes. That's just like saving them by various means, and apparently they'll all pull forward into Phantom Pain and be assets off the out the gate. So I'm trying that. I'm trying to get all everything S ranked, all the people that you can get saved. So when I start Phantom Pain, I have a really strong start because I cannot wait to play all of that game.
No, not to be too spoilerific, because despite never having played a Metal Gear game, I know what happens at the end of Ground Zeroes. It'd be quite interesting to see how they manage to tie that in, considering the base at the end gets destroyed and half the people get slaughtered.
I think the entire point of this one is, I know that you're supposed to be building up Mother Base, improving it. So I think what it's going to be is, this is going to be the creation of Zanzibar land, which for people that don't know, the original Metal Gear, not Metal Gear Solid. I'm talking about the original Metal Gear on. Oh Christ, what console was it? I think it was the Famicom. It was on.
Just
You, which was
MSX
yeah.
version, yeah.
Yeah. It's like the original Metal Gear, you played as the guy who is Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid, and you're invading a place called Zanzibar Land, and you end up at the end fighting Metal Gear, and along with that Big Boss, who is Big Boss that you're playing in the older games in the series. So I think this one is going to be a kind of getting it back to the beginnings of where if you were to play Metal Gear, you'd flow nicely from Phantom Pain into Metal Gear. Like you are Big Boss fighting against Snake kind of thing. So I think this is going to be the creation of a new base that becomes Zanzibar Land, and it's you expanding that, recruiting people and tweaking it to your needs. So if you're more like the Splinter Cell sneaky guy that likes to crawl around the map and take out people silently, you can specialize your base towards that. Or if you like running in with guns and all the explosives, you can tweak it towards that as well.
What style of player are you then, Darren?
I'm usually very sneaky, but when I get annoyed, I just run in with gun blazing. If something goes wrong, I go, it's a fucking hell!
Just throw grenades everywhere.
Yeah, I was actually doing that when I was playing Ground Zeroes. I was like, right, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get an S ranking, and the best way to do that, I think, is by not killing any people, because I'm pretty sure you get penalized for killing people. So I was like running around with the trank pistol and taking people out, or just sneaking past them altogether and saving people and getting to the extraction sites. And then I got spotted at one point, and I didn't quite get my trank shot, so I just whipped out my assault rifle and went freaking nuts. That included going back to all the people I had knocked out and riddling them with bullets.
As you do. So you basically turned full Anakin Skywalker from...
Yes, yeah. I killed every single one of the younglings.
You walked into the temple and then you just slaughtered a bunch of children.
It's like there was an almighty cry in the Force, and then it was suddenly silenced.
Oh, that movie's so bad.
thousands of voices crying out at once, and then suddenly there's silence. And that wasn't that movie. That was from...
No, that's a quote from A New Hope, but like just any of the prequels, just Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, those prequels. They've got one or two good moments. Like I always say, like I hate those movies. Pretty much all of it, actually. But that last scene, the fight between Obi and Anakin in the worker lava / planet, where they have that kind of like lightsaber fight before he gets chopped in half.
Really? I thought it was
I
really
love that
fucking...
I love that. Particularly,
the only fight I would say is worth watching from any of the prequels is probably the Darth Maul fight at the end of the episode.
The Darth Maul fight is cool. That's like my second favorite fight. Like even though there's like a big, massive, set piece, which is just circle jerking for everyone that likes to mess around. There's the bit where they're standing on top of a table and they're kind of like waving around their sabers, but they're not connecting, and then they both force push at the same time.
Yeah.
It's total cinema wankery, but I love it. It's just like
it's a very good way to describe it. Yeah,
it's wank of the highest level, but it's just so cool. I love that fight.
You excited for the new one?
No, at all.
No.
No, ancient Harrison Ford, ancient Chewbacca, ancient Luke. But I will give you the reveal pictures they've done of Luke. Looks very Obi-Wan, and that looks very cool. Like the student has become the master kind of thing. But I don't know, man. I think they just need to let that franchise die. They should let it die after the first trilogy.
Yeah, but George Lucas doesn't do that. He doesn't do that.
But now it's Disney, though. That's the thing. I know he's got a pretty big role in Disney after selling that multi-billion-dollar business to them, but at the same time,
Well, put this way, Marvel is owned by Disney, so it's been all right for them.
Yeah, but Marvel can do good stuff, and George Lucas stopped doing good stuff about 20 years ago.
That's why I'm so glad that it's not George Lucas is directing this one; it's J.J. Abrams.
Yeah. Yeah, oh god, imagine if it was George Lucas, the amount of crap that would go in there.
Do you remember before? Did you go see Crystal Skull?
No, I've still not seen Crystal Skull.
Where they were on about oh, don't worry, there'll be no CG. It's bare back to bones, basic, just Harrison Ford a whip. It's not going to be any CG or anything. And the first 30 seconds, there's 3 CG fucking gophers on the screen. That was the point where I just went,
Nope.
Okay.
I do like some of the ridiculous fan theories that I've read, like that entire movie never actually happened. It was just Indy suffering the effects of radiation sickness and imagining it all as he was dying.
So
It's
like
like, yeah, that's a better explanation than actually that movie happening.
the alternate Friends ending. It's kind of like that. Did you read about that?
I've not read about it now,
So
but
somebody came up with an alternate ending to Friends that is like drug riddled Phoebe's fever dream. So the entire thing never happened.
like all of Friends was just
Yeah.
Phoebe being high and
Yep.
imagining she actually had friends. Cool.
Yep.
Um,
So
apart
apart
from
from
playing Metal Gear, I've been playing little bits. Like it's only been the last 2 days that I've really came back into Fantasy Star. Uh, been tweaking all my gear and trying to get rid of the stuff that I don't need. And you and I have been trying out challenge mode, which is so much fun.
yeah, let's talk about challenge mode a little bit here.
So for
Um,
most people, not many, most people who listen will not know anything about Fantasy Star, but it has got a special mode called the Challenge Lunges, which lets you into challenge mode itself. And essentially, you go down to a planet with between 1 and 4 people. Although I think you can actually hold parties of 12, but
yeah, I'm fairly
don't.
sure it said multi-party area on some of them.
Yeah, I,
So
I don't think there's ever enough parties doing it at the same time. Plus, like there's like 8 lounges, so you all need to be gathered in one lounge to maybe make that happen. Uh, but you go down to the planet and you have to complete 5 different missions in different stages. Every time you complete one, you move on to the next level. So you start with the forest, then move on to the volcanic caves, which I assume moves on to the desert, which moves on to the
tundra and then maybe
ocean
takes
or
place
something like
after
that.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you start off with nothing. So no armor, no weapons, no techniques, no magic, no healing items, no res items, and you need to pick up everything on site. So it's entirely dependent on RNG because there are boxes that contain some items, but it's always just, oh, here's a moon atomizer to res someone, or here's a little heal item. Everything else has to drop from an enemy. So you can, as we did the first time we went in, you can go through about 3 or 4 rooms having not a single weapon drop, and then you get a weapon drop when you've only got like a quarter of your time left.
Yeah, that
Second
first
time,
time we did it really fucked us about where
yeah,
there was nothing dropping, and then we were literally dying to darker spawn, like because we had no weapons, and then I got a cane, and the
yes,
tide
you did.
started to turn a bit
And then
after
I
that.
got a gun. And that gun saved it for me. Second time we got a bit more lucky. You got a sword almost straight away. It took me 2 rooms to get my gun again, but I got a cane before that, so I was using the cane a little bit. It was kind of crap, but it was better than just punching things with my fist. It's super difficult. We've yet to beat the first room in the second area.
Yeah,
We just can't seem to get through that area fast enough. But I was saying earlier, in the green room, uh, that if we had more people, I think it's just a soft timer that just doesn't show you that there is an expiration date on beating that enemy. It's just you have to beat it before it runs away. It runs
yeah,
away
because
before
we got
unspecified time.
like the enemy detonated or something, and then the entire room was poisoned, and then we just gradually went down to 1 hit point, and after that, one little bit, and that was it dead.
Yep, it's still kind of fun though. I mean, I think we can get Ali and Dave or a few other people try and get a multi-party started. Somehow we can maybe hit Reddit and say, "Hey, who wants to come and do some challenge lunges?"
Have you
So
got
we can
Dave
get
set up with that yet?
He's yet to email me back some stuff that I need.
Okay.
Yeah, he emailed me a link for a confirmation, but for some reason it wouldn't work. So I'm trying to get a workaround for him. But it's as with all things with Dave, it's slow to get started.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
Um,
Outside that, not much gaming done. I'm still going on and doing stuff most days on Hearthstone. The Grand Tournament, sorry, is now out. I'm not a big fan of most of the cards. I've seen a few cards come up when I'm playing people. Some of them are really good, some of them are really, really bad. I've been watching a few major league tournaments type stuff, and no one is playing cards from the new expansion. I don't know if that's just because it's new and people haven't figured out how to work them into your deck yet, but it seems most people are sticking with the tried and true old style decks that they've had before now. So it seems kind of a fail so far.
Maybe
with
it's
the new.
people didn't have time to prepare for it, and
Yeah,
just
that's I said I don't think people have figured out how to work it into their deck yet. I've seen, I think maybe one card being played in a tournament so far, and it's just a trade for a card that's almost exactly the same. I think it's got slightly better buff to it for one of the Paladin cards, and that's really it. Everything else is kind of eh. I've got a fair few of them though. Like, I saved up about 2,000 gold just before the expansion released, and it's 100 gold a pack, so I bought about 20 packs of cards. I got some okay things, nothing particularly mind blowing, but one or two things I could maybe work into my pretty meager decks that I have right now. I think if you're not a major league player, like if you're just like a normal person that doesn't pay for cards and stuff like that, some of the cards in there could be a very big boost to you. But if you're pretty serious about your Hearthstone and you've got all the cards or most of the cards unlocked, so you've probably got a solid deck. I don't think these cards are going to make much of a difference for you.
and I just can't be doing with card games.
I usually can't do with card games. I usually get into every other iteration of Magic that comes out, and I'll give it a go for about 3 or 4 days, and I go, oh, I hate Magic. It's just needlessly complicated. There's the rest phase and the active phase and the trap phase and the counter phase, and it's like, oh, get the fuck. Hearthstone is just super simple. Play what you've got to play on that turn. Your opponent does what they need to do on that turn, and it's quick, it's efficient. Games are done in about 10 minutes. I'm alright with that.
Yep, never played it. Like card games have always just been like a massive turnoff for me. Like the thing that I always remember is after Fantasy Star Online episode 2 came out and they announced episode 3, and it was a card game, and I was just like, yeah, no.
Oh yeah, you remember that, the card game that no one will want to play. Yeah, I think that's pretty much about it. It's been a super slow gaming week for me. It says it's been focuses on other things, sadly.
Yeah, you've been a busy man. I'd like to say I'm more of a bit different with the gaming front, but again, I'm very similar on that one. Spent a lot of time watching Therese play Sleeping Dogs. She's currently working her way through that one, so she's had the Xbox most of the week. So bar that, like aside from the gaming stuff, I actually watched Age of Ultron for the first time.
Oh, is that you finally seen it?
Yeah, that's me finally seen it.
What did you think?
Yeah, it's all right. It's not as good as Guardians or Winter Soldier, but yeah, I enjoyed it. It was okay. There were a few things that were a bit questionable, but
Such as
like Thor going into that weird pool thing. Why was that needed in the movie?
it's to set up Ragnarok.
Yeah, but there's
And also because how else were they going to find out about this weird, mysterious, intergalactic being that's trying to collect all the freaking stones in order to create the Infinity Gauntlet? That's, apart from all other things, just a rumor in the rumblings in the universe, unless you're a particularly bad guy.
yeah. So that was the end. That was the very end part of that.
Showing Galactus.
Yeah, no, not Galactus. Thanos.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Why the hell am I thinking Fantastic Four? No, and then the internet blowing up about the differences in the Infinity Gauntlet and the one that's in Odin's weapon chamber.
Oh, really?
If you watch the first Thor movie, when I think it's just after
the
the
stones
attack,
already in it? Is that what?
It's I think it's when they just fend off the attack, trying to get the what's the name of that ice thing? Starts with a J. It's like a Yorg something. I can't. The thing the Frost Giants are trying to get from Odin.
Yeah.
I think it's just after they fend off an attack from that. Odin is walking away from the room that keeps all the armory essentially, and if you look in the background, there is a left-handed Infinity Gauntlet complete with all the stones. And the internet's like, oh, what the hell? Because the one that Thanos gets at the end is right-handed, because that's, I'm pretty sure, the one that he always has anyway. And which had to lead to, I can't remember who made that movie, but having to come out, the producer saying, no, we put that in as an Easter egg. There was not actually two Infinity Gauntlets and two sets of Infinity Stones, and Odin doesn't have this like super powerful weapon just sitting in his armory waiting to be abused. It's a joke. Calm down, guys. We didn't know that was going to happen when we created Thor.
It's like Stan Lee in every Marvel movie. So
Yeah.
it's totally there for anything other than just a bit of a joke.
Yeah, it was thrown in purely for a laugh. It's like, oh, wouldn't it be really funny if Odin had the Infinity Gauntlet and downstairs he's just running around with his little staff, kicking all the ass.
But yeah, I thought the movie was alright. I'd like, as I say, like I had a couple of problems, like the Thor thing. Also, that they put so much importance on saving everyone. Like it's a case of like we're either saving everyone or we're saving no one. Like Captain America was kind of willing to let the planet die if they couldn't save the people on the island. It's kind of like,
Really? Yeah.
what?
You're thinking the Vulcan situation there.
Yeah,
The
like
needs of the
the needs of
many
many
outweigh the
outweigh
needs
the
of the
needs of
few.
the few. Yeah, but you were just kind of like aghast at that, especially
I mean,
considering.
it's kind of consistent with Captain's ideals. Like, he refuses to lose anyone if he can. Yeah, I totally agree that a few hundred or a few thousand people can die to save literally billions of people. But, it goes against Captain America's ideals.
Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't really do anything for me, that part. Like I guess the main problems that I have with the Avengers in this one is like it's kind of like Marvel's equivalent of like a crossover event, which I've always had problems with anyway, because the Marvel crossover events are always just about kind of their like a sequence of events, and then they have their big flashy grand end piece, which kind of makes headlines. There's no real character development throughout the entire thing.
Well, you see a little bit of stuff. Like, you see the friction between Captain America and Iron Man starting to build, which is going to set up Civil War nicely because they're on opposing sides during that. You can see this
But
kind
like
of grinding
they
between
kind of
them
do it
that's
in
worse than
so
usual.
they kind of do it in such an offhand way, because one scene, like when they're trying to set up Vision, like they're full on fighting, and then the next scene they're fine. It's I understand, but there should have been more. Like the tension should basically have been carried throughout the movie. It's just kind of like, oh, here it is here, and like if you remember this, it's here. But like if you look through the rest of the movie, it's not really
It's
there.
difficult to make that happen, though. It's difficult to have two guys that have to work together to save the planet be consistently at each other's throats. There's a time when you need to put that shit aside and get the job done, and then you can be pissed at the other guy later on. And that's kind of
It's
what they're
just
like for most of it, though.
yeah, it's just kind of telling that the character that had the most development throughout was probably Hawkeye.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The whole family thing, definitely.
Yeah, and like Hawkeye kind of comes out of that movie kind of being the best one, to be honest. Like I wasn't overly fond of what they did with Banner and the Hulk.
Yeah, I didn't like his ending. It's too ambiguous. I wanted to I know why they left it ambiguous, so they could potentially set up 2 or 3 different movie routes if they want to do a solo Hulk movie again.
Good luck with that, because I don't think that's
Yeah, I was going to
probably
say
going to
they're
happen.
not going to. I don't think they should do a solo Hulk movie. He's not a good character to do something by himself. He doesn't have enough going on. You seem confused.
It's the Hulk.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough going on by himself. You you have the character that you can develop, Bruce Banner, who has the linguistic skill, the ability, the emotional connections, and then you've got is literally a beast for all other words you can use for it. He's not able to communicate. He doesn't have much in the way of interactions with other people other than Hulk smashes the shit out of it.
So let
There's
me
no
tell you
real
about Green
character
Scar
development.
Hulk.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. You can get into like, oh yeah, you've got like the Grey Hulk and you've got the mobster Hulk, and no, that's not where they're going to go with it. They would need other events to happen to create the Hulk that comes out of
Yeah.
that situation.
So if they're going to do the only solo Hulk thing that's really worth telling, they need to do the kind of Green Scar Hulk route, which is basically Banner finds a way to fuse like the intelligence of himself and like the strength of the Hulk, so that the Hulk can communicate, and he is just as smart as Banner.
Is that the one where the he moves to Vegas or some shit and he becomes like a mobster?
No, that's when he gets shot into space and then creates Planet Hulk.
No,
Yeah,
that's the Gladiator one I'm talking about. You're talking about there.
yeah, but he is as smart as Banner.
But there's a no, he's not. He's not as smart
Yes,
as
no,
Banner
he
and
is.
Planet Hulk. No,
And that one
and Planet Hulk, he's nowhere near as smart as Banner.
because he
He
comes
has
back.
a rudimentary intelligence at best.
Trust me, do
He's
not
aware of what
question my knowledge of the
I've
Hulk here.
seen it several times.
No, not the movie. No, don't go with the movie. Go with the comic. I have the big hardback version.
I don't have time to read that.
So when shit eventually goes wrong and he comes back to fight all the Avengers, he uses each of their weaknesses against them. Like he takes on
Yes.
X-Men and like Fantastic Four and whatever else, like because he's able to use the intelligence of Banner. Because at that point he doesn't want to be a Banner anymore. He just wants to be the Hulk.
Fair enough. I've not done enough reading on the subject. I'll
Yeah.
bow to your superior knowledge on this one.
The Hulk. He's the strongest one there is.
Yeah, but he's also easily beaten if he's just the Hulk. Unless he
That was
has
the other thing that really
smarts
bugged
of
me. Like
Banner.
Iron Man knocks him out in a punch. So that doesn't happen. Hulk just gets the anger Hulk gets, the stronger he gets.
Wait, when did Captain knock him out with a punch?
Iron Man knocks him out with a punch. Remember when they have him fall through the building?
Yeah, that was yeah. That entire fight was a bit problematic. It was a cool fight, but yeah.
Again,
There's a lot of holes in that movie.
Yeah, I think the movie hangs too heavily on the everyone has to be saved and there can be no casualties. I don't feel like it really needs to go the Man of Steel route where just everybody in the city dies. But I think there needs to be like because I'm worried that they're going to do the whole thing for Civil War is that something's going to happen to a hero and that's going to start it all. Because have you read Civil War?
I have not read it. I know parts of what happened, but I'm not actually.
But do you know how the entire thing kicks off?
I don't know what happens at the beginning to start it now.
So Volkstad from Thor's universe, like he's fighting someone in like a stadium and accidentally blows up the stadium trying to defeat someone and like kills like thousands of people. And like including like an elementary school like next door or whatever. And that
sounds big familiar, so maybe I do know that. Actually,
but it brings about like the few
questions as to why have they got the ability to do this, not be held accountable.
Yeah, the superhuman registration.
Everyone splits into two flesh, and yeah.
So I'm worried that that's going to be the crux of that. They're just going to be, the heroes are killing themselves. We need to keep tabs on them, as opposed to like, actual ground-bearing consequences of like, yeah, people die. There need to be like accountable actions for this sort of thing.
I think maybe what they'd be better doing is because when is Civil War due to come out next year?
Next year, yeah.
Yeah, like if there's no, is there a movie before that that's coming out?
I don't think so. I think that's the next one. Because Doctor Strange is after that, and the Infinity War stuff's after that as well.
Yeah, because I was thinking what they could do is they could try and use a movie before it, but if there's not one, then it's not going to work. Like use like Thor or Captain America or an Iron Man or something like that just to set up, or like even if you wanted to use it with a new character, do like Black Panther or Captain Marvel or something, have a hero that's trying to do good, but during the course of this movie, his bad moment is, he kills someone that he shouldn't kill or causes an accident and kills a couple of hundred people or whatever, and then that kind of sets into motion the start of the Civil War, like, oh, we need to stop this from happening, and the entire thing, the course of it happens over Civil War rather than having to actually set it up during the movie as well.
Marvel just seems to have this whole opposition to like loss of innocent life that as much as it's a very bad thing, it's just like like casualties of war. It's casualties of war thing. I think it's innocent bystanders all the time.
It's the superheroes thing for the masses though. Like although lots of people read comic books, they're by far the minority when it comes to the masses that watch the movies. So they treat them differently. They treat those movies with kid gloves because the amount of money they can generate. And the amount of money that gets poured into them, they need to be super careful. Get that off of camera.
That wasn't me. That was her.
So they treat them totally different. You can do what you want in a comic book, and some people will stop, and then you do something to fix it, and then people come back. But in that short lapse, you've not lost a great deal of money, but when you pour 200 million into the creation of a movie, if you don't get that 200 million and then quite a lot back, you're going to stop doing them altogether. So you need to treat them kind of gently
Yeah,
to make
my
sure that
only
it
worry is
pleases the
that
masses.
the movies are becoming very formulaic in the
Oh,
format.
they've been like that since the release of like Iron Man 2. And to be honest, superhero movies to an extent have always been that way. There's always been the creation of the superhero, or like the problem that the normal person has that becomes super, who then does something that causes bad event that he has to redeem himself for. Then he has to fight the bad guy at the end, and then the next movie is just, oh, my life's happy, bad guy, try to fight bad guy, fuck up fighting bad guy, resolve inner conflict, beat bad guy.
Yeah, I'm just kind of waiting for Marvel's dark moment. I guess they've yet to have their kind of Empire Strikes Back, where just like because it's always just yep, you know who's in this, you know they're going to win at the end of the day. Somebody might die, but it's not going to be anyone major. Like
It'd
it's
be nice if they deliberately screwed up something like that. Like, if they kept Ultron around rather than just killing him off. Because, like, apart from the consistent threat of Thanos and the existence of Loki, there's no bad guy that's ever, made it through a movie in one of those films
well,
that I can
there's
think of
rumors that
offhand.
the Mandarin is still alive in the because if you saw the short that was like tied along with Iron Man 3.
I might have.
Remember how Ben Kingsley was like pretending to be like the Mandarin and stuff.
Yeah,
There's like a short of him in prison where like the Mandarin was it. Remember the bald guy from the first Iron Man,
Jebediah.
possibly. He's supposed to be the
The
Mandarin.
dude. We talking about the dude here?
No, no,
You know,
no,
the,
no.
the
Remember the guy in the desert?
Oh yeah, okay, him. Yeah, I thought you were
Yeah,
talking about
he's supposed to be
Jebediah.
the
Yeah.
Mandarin.
Seriously?
Yeah,
He
that's
doesn't have
what
the
they're going
smarts for
for.
that shit.
That's what
Yeah.
they're supposed to be going for.
Well,
But
he
yeah, like
left him. He got left to the retaliatory actions of the masses. He was dead. Those people didn't let him live.
well, if you watch that short, he's still alive. So
Seriously? Did you actually
yeah,
see him?
yeah. I can't remember what the name of that short is, but it's
God
like
damn, I had
it,
no idea. I've not seen that short.
what was I gonna say? But yeah, like a lot of the good bad guys that would really fit in that role, really determined by how poorly Fantastic Four does, considering they just removed it from the theaters this week.
Yeah, but like so I can't. But big bad guys like Doctor Doom or Loki to an extent, I suppose. There's no super massive bad guys that can go through into other movies and have a pre-existing backstory that they can't just set up and knock down because he's only there for a movie.
Well, I reckon Red Skull's going to come back
I know.
because we know that
How are
cube
they
doesn't
gonna how are
kill
they gonna
people.
ex- how are they gonna explain away that he's from around about World War II and doesn't have a convenient cryogenic prison in a plane that he could have survived in for like 40, 50 years?
Well, he got teleported by that cube. You don't know where he's been.
What, he got teleported into the future and he just picks up where he left off?
You never know. He might have met Thanos, who gave him the time crystal, and who knows where he is.
Thanos isn't giving anyone time crystals. He wants them for himself.
Like I think there's a lot. I don't know who else they would have, but because like I reckon Galactus and Doctor Doom are probably the two big ones that if they were to get those from Fantastic Four, that would solve a lot of problems.
I
But
hope they never introduce Galactus as the bad guy in those movies because Galactus can't be beaten. He's the guy that you can beat away for a little bit, then he's going to come back. And you beat away, and he's always going to come back. He's always going to come back stronger. And unless you can handle it in that moment, you're screwed.
yeah, I think you need a director who kind of knew what he was doing with that one. Because if you
Yeah,
did you read the leaked Fantastic Four script summary that was supposed to happen?
no.
That was supposed to feature Galactus.
Ugh. Kind of no. I think people need to stay away from Galactus. He's kind of like Thanos in that way. I think people should stay away from Thanos as well. Because if you get your hands on the Infinity Gauntlet, you're almost unbeatable. I know comic books, you always end up beating them in some way, but arguably, you can't beat someone with the Infinity Gauntlet. It's the power to do literally anything.
Yeah, that's why they're splitting that into 2 movies, because if you can do anything, you can make a lot of money.
Like, oh god, see if they use this as an excuse to bring back all the bad guys. It's like, haha, you're fighting me, I'm bringing back all your worst enemies from the previous movies!
Why do I have a horrible feeling that you've probably just summarized the plot of the second half of that movie?
Yeah, that's how the first movie ends, when Galactus lifts up the gauntlet and suddenly behind him an army of all, like, the previous Marvel Universe movies. The enemies are suddenly standing behind him, arms crossed, looking all angry. Like, we're back, boys.
That would not surprise me in the least. Like, it wouldn't at all, because then everybody gets to beat their villain, and then everybody lives happily ever after at the end of the day. There you go. That's the Marvel movie formula in a nutshell.
But that second movie would have to be like 14 hours long for everyone to take on their enemies and beat them with any real meaning. Unless it's just, hi, we're back, and you've instantly beat us. Whee!
Or it's just 1 2.5 hour long fight scene.
With absolutely no character development. Just nothing, just jumping 2.5 hours of jumping cutscenes of people helping people, and someone surely has to get beaten at some point, though.
I've told you, that's what every Marvel crossover thing is. It's just their big set piece and then like a headline grabbing moment at the end of it. And there you go. That's
Yeah, you say that, but it's good. The formula works. Like, people keep going to see the movies. I keep going to see the movies. The only Marvel movie I've not seen so far is Ant-Man, just because I've not had anyone to go see it with.
Yeah, I've not seen that either. But yeah, kind of not bothered about that one.
Yeah,
Gotta be really honest.
I've seen trailers, and it does seem like a funny movie, and it seems like it'd be all right. And I've spoke to people and said it is a good movie, but Ant-Man doesn't really do anything for me. It's kind of like, yeah, you can turn small and you have a really hard-hitting punch, but you can only run at like a centimeter a minute.
Well, they took away the most controversial part of that anyway, because they've not made Hank Pym the main character. And in case you've forgotten, Hank Pym is a notorious wife beater, so they're kind of playing it safe by going with someone else as Ant-Man.
Yeah. But anyway, what else have you done, Mark? Because that was a long time to spend on.
That was a long time talking about Age of Ultron.
Spend on Avengers.
Therese and I watched the American remake of The Ring.
Oh God, why did you do that?
It was on TV. We watched it. It was awful. It's awful.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why did you do that?
It's really weird. It's really weird watching that after seeing the Japanese one recently, because they just kind of take the premise and just run off and do their own fucking thing with it, and it doesn't really match with anything. It's like, hey, we'll make up this whole thing with like horses and fucking, we'll just keep the tape element, and that'll be it.
Yeah, I don't know if you realize this, Mark, but America's terrible at doing remakes of anything. Even if it's one of their own movies, they're terrible at doing a remake.
Oh yeah.
Hi, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Hi, Friday the 13th. Hi,
Total Recall.
Freddy. Hi, Total Recall. Hi, Judge Dredd.
RoboCop was
RoboCop was bad. It was bad. It was terrible. It was a bad movie.
It's totally predictable what happens from the first 40 minutes though, and you're just like, yeah, this is gonna happen, and you're like, yeah.
Yep. So I've yet to see a particularly noteworthy and good remake. The only one that's semi-decent, but even then it's still crap, is Halloween. I quite like the Rob Zombie remakes of Halloween. The second one was terrible, but the first one was alright.
Didn't the second one go straight to video?
Yeah. I don't remember seeing it in cinema. I'm pretty sure I just picked it up on DVD.
That's probably your reasoning for that one then.
Yeah, but I liked the first one. It wasn't terrible. They hit all the right notes for a Michael Myers movie.
What, indestructible guy, can't be killed, runs about with a machete? That's the same one, right?
Nope, knife.
Nope.
Machete is Jason, Friday the 13th.
So it is.
Unless you talk about the first one, which was his mum, not Jason.
Yes, I remember that now, Bar that, I've been playing a little bit of games here and there. As I said, I spent a lot of time watching Therese play Sleeping Dogs, but I played a bit of PSO. Obviously, I destroyed the best weapon I had through crafting, which was a
Yes, you
real
did.
pain in the ass.
Have you done any good events that I've missed out on? Because I've
No,
been away for most of the week.
bar the one that we were talking about last week, I've literally not done anything really. Like the Magatsu one's coming up on Sunday and Monday at reasonable times in our time scale, so we're doing
Nice.
both of those.
Yes, yes, it will.
But
Hopefully, we can. Well, we should push to get the level cap unlocked then, and the difficulty cap. Actually, I think I
yeah,
finished level cap one. Actually, yeah, I finished level cap. I need to get the difficulty unlocked, and then we can try doing the extra hard or very hard ones.
so I think we'll need to push quite hard for that one because I think in order to get the stuff that's the requirements for unlocking the next level, like the next
It's just beating
difficulty.
bosses. Yeah,
Yeah, but I've finished the Tundra stuff, and I do not have access to the next level after that.
that's right. We'll
So,
just power through that.
so we need to get all the Matterboard stuff finished. So,
Yes.
yeah, but we need to figure out how to do that. But we've talked enough about PSO, I think, over the last few weeks. I have also been playing more Fallout Shelter.
I still haven't gone back to that game. Yeah, I enjoyed it for about 2 weeks.
I'll say that my interest in that game is slowly eroding as time goes on.
Yeah, like I said, mine's eroded over the course of about 2 weeks, and I was like, yeah, there's absolutely nothing else for me to do in this game. See you later.
Yeah, it does get very repetitive. I'm still checking on it occasionally. I'm checking on it today, but I'll probably do that
It just
later.
becomes a slow waiting game. Like every time you do something, it's the next iteration takes all that much longer, so you need to check in less and less. Like I
Yeah,
understand why some people like make 3 or 4 vaults because you've constantly got stuff to do. Then you've got one vault that's every few hours you need to check, but you've got one that every 10 minutes you need to check.
yeah, that's kind of the point where I'm at. Where like it's like, yeah, I've got these things to do, but these goals are going to take so long, and the reward isn't really that great. I just need to level up these guys in this room, then send them out to see if they'll find anything. I'm getting to the stage where if I send people out, they're starting to find blue rated weapons as opposed to green rated weapons. But there's not really that much depth to it. So
Oh yeah, this isn't a game for depth. This is a game just to it's a management game. It's essentially a theme park.
I wouldn't even say that. I would say it's more of a PR thing for Fallout 4. I would say
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you just look at the game, it's essentially a management or resource management game like theme park or roller coaster tycoon or to an extent SimCity.
I don't know. I feel like there's more to do with those games. Like I think
No,
this is
yeah,
very
there's a
much.
lot more depth, but I just mean
Yeah.
that you need to build X, Y, and Z in order to progress, and you've got this finite number of resources and number of people that you can do it with. So
Yeah,
you
it's very much
slowly you slowly build your way up the system.
very much your Farmville or Simpsons Tapped Out type model of, hey,
Yeah,
come back.
that's a more appropriate thing like Family Guy or Simpsons or Farmville or Farm Squalor, depending on how much you play that game.
Yeah. Apart from that, I played. I don't know if you picked it up. Pac-Man 256.
I did not. I picked up Hitman Go, but I've not Hitman Go. Sorry, Tomb Raider Go, but I've not played it yet.
Is that free or is that one of those?
No, you need to pay for that.
Right. Okay. See, Pac-Man 256 is free, so it might be worth looking at. It's made by the Crossy Roads people. That game that I told you to check out that you probably haven't done.
Terrible. I tried it. It's crap.
It's so good.
It's so not. I played it.
I
It's not
went
good.
back. I went back to that the other day, and they've added like 9 new characters that you can go, and one of them is Psy, and you can't
Yeah,
get
I
it unless
noticed
you
that.
pay for it. And I was totally tempted just to drop like £1.59 and just get Psy.
No, I played that game about a dozen times and was like, nah, this is just super boring.
It's
It's just
Frogger. It's like
yeah,
it's like a voxel version
it's
of
just
Frogger.
Frog's not interesting though. Frogger's a crap game.
But it's the way that it's endless, and it's the way that like you keep unlocking stuff, and like different characters do different things. Did you unlock many characters when you were doing it?
Like 3.
So the best one that I had was Disco Bear, Like every so often there'll be a disco ball drop and everything will just start dancing. It's
See, I would be okay with it if it didn't force you to have to constantly push forward faster than you might want to. Because, like, like an endless runner, well, not even like an endless runner, actually. The background is always moving forward, so if you wait too long, you go off the edge of the screen and die. I don't like that. Like sometimes nothing is, the circumstances just are never right to go, and you end up falling off the screen not because you didn't want to progress, because you literally couldn't progress without dying.
So you weren't a fan of those Mario 3 levels that were like the fixed camera that forced you along?
I don't mind those because the rest of the game supports it that it's not like that. You can have a once off, but the entire game is based around that. I don't like that.
So in that case, then you probably wouldn't like Pac-Man 256 because that is very much a scrolling top to bottom like endless Pac-Man game where you have to go forward and get the pellets and eat the ghosts. The only problem I say that game has is that it's random where enemies spawn. So sometimes you can be locked into a place and not be able to get out of a situation. So you might die and not be able to do anything about it, and then have to eat up a credit because of it. But I've been kind of enjoying my time with it. I've been like doing at least like a couple playthroughs like every day, and just kind of collecting a few tokens. But it's okay for a free game. It's totally the guys who made Crossy Roads, and I guess you like that sort of thing, you like this. But if you don't, you might not. It might be worth a try.
I'll give it a go. I tried Crossy Roads because you recommended it. Wait, 256. That's made by Bandai Namco.
It's published by Bandai Namco because obviously it's Pac-Man.
Yeah, but I can't see
Hipster Whale
the other
is the
guy.
company.
Yeah, I can't see Hipster Whale's name mentioned in the description anywhere.
Trust me, if you play that game for like 2 seconds,
I'm sure if I play it,
you realize it's Crossy Roads.
I don't know, man. The name's not mentioned anywhere. This could just be like a "we're stealing your idea" kind of thing. So I'll download it now though, and I'll give it a go after we finish the podcast. And then next week I can come back with yet another crappy game that you've recommended to me. When all I do, Mark, all I ever do is give you good games and recommend good games, and then you don't freaking play them.
It's on the list. It's on the list.
Yeah, it's on the list. Great. I've got Super Mario Galaxy 2 is on my list, but I had that for like 2 years from you.
Yeah,
and then gave
remember
it back
that? Remember that?
Yeah. I had it from you like 2 years, and then I never freaking played it, and then gave it back to you. That's on my list too to complete, but I'm never going to play it because I don't own it.
Well, given the spotty internet connection I have, it's a fucking nightmare to try and be able to get that Dark Souls thing to stream. Like when I got back today, like I just got straight up a warning on my phone. It was like, your internet connection is unstable. I was like, well, that's going to go fucking well for the podcast then, isn't it? So, yeah, I got a funny feeling that Virgin Media are going to get a stern phone call again today.
Fun.
But yeah, that's really what I've been playing. That's about it. Bar giving the cat tummy rubs as I'm doing just now.
Yeah, stop doing that because it looks a bit weird on screen. It's just your arm moving.
Later.
Yes, we're not disputing the fact that you've already had it on screen. Stop touching it.
But yeah, that's it. That's my week. Like I've been playing a bit PSO. Like I've been the only one on in some instances. It's just been a case of like
I've made a point of logging on daily just so I could get my log on stamps, but most of the time I've been too busy with other things. Just like, I need to just log on really quickly to get my next item stamp.
And that's all changed now. So
just missed out on completing that board. I think I was like maybe 2 or 3 different logins away from completing it, like getting all the items on it. And then they went and all changed up the board and made it graphically much sexier.
And more items now as well, because it's an item every time you log in.
Yeah,
as opposed to just...
every single time. Yeah, just a credit and like.
Yeah. Some of those things look like fun points. Some of those things look like lobby actions. I'm not entirely sure what. So.
You've told me there's a way to look at it, and I've not seen it. I'll figure out how to do it at some point.
I will tell you how to do that later. There is a way to do it. I figured it out last night because I was able to access the bingo card stuff as well. So, yeah, with that, we'll probably just move on to the news, which again, hey, there's not very much news for this week because, everybody's kind of showing all their stuff and games are starting to come out. Metal Gear's what, next week?
Metal Gear is indeed a week away. But we've got some good games that have just come out. Well, I say good games. I've not tried them, but it's had lots of good reviews in the form of Until Dawn.
Yeah, that's a really interesting. Like that game has just like exploded on YouTube over the last like however many days.
And news-wise, it is interesting as well because stuff's been happening on Twitch, has it not, Mark?
Yeah, so Sony are actually like going around and removing Twitch archives if they're recorded on a PS4, which is a really weird thing because I don't think they've retroactively done that to anything. So now, like as far as I'm aware, like the actual archival stuff is actually disabled for the game, and I think Twitch said that they are like investigating it to see if there's anything they can do about it. But given that the publisher, not the publisher, the developers themselves, is it Supermassive Games?
Yes.
Said that they were hoping that everyone would stream it because that's what they made it for, and it just seems to be a bit of a kind of.
There's so there. So many things to do.
Yeah, like, and I've heard like there's so many branching paths in this that like I've also heard there's a playthrough you can get is perfect without having anyone die, which, given some of the situations in that game, seems kind of.
There's always going to be that. Like, there's always going to be a perfect, you survive everything, and there's going to be one where you kill everyone. Likewise, there's going to be probably a trophy associated with each. Like, if you actually manage to kill every single person, and there's going to be some, I hope at least a decent level, like a gold level trophy or something like that, or a huge amount of achievement points towards actually saving everyone.
So like
that would take a monumental feat.
Yeah, so I've seen maybe up to about chapter 5 of the game being played by some of the YouTubers, and one of those situations is like a very much a clear linear choice of like you need to choose between this person and this person, and the person you do not choose, some very bad things are going to happen.
Like kind of Walking Dead style.
Yeah. Oh, the game is very much.
I imagine there is a choice you can make before that choice that stops that choice from being either he dies or he dies. Like, it could be a case of, oh, let's all walk into this convenience store and then the zombies attack and it forces you to choose between one another, as opposed to, hey, Steve, you stay with the car, everyone else come in here, and then only that one person is in trouble and then you can save the person.
So it's, I don't know if it's spoilers because there's a lot of video footage and stuff out there, but this is very much a case of two people are hung up. There's a spinning blade heading down a track. You can adjust it going left or right. What person do you choose to save the person? So
well, that does
there's not really much
very
room there for like, yeah, you can save both of them.
Not unless there's like a situation where you can completely avoid that happening. Like, they never end up tied up in that room.
Yeah, maybe.
There will be. There's going to be a way where you can save everyone, which means there must be a way to avoid that trap. Because if you can save everyone, you have to avoid someone dying.
Yeah, I will say that like
it's not going to be easy. It's going to be like super convoluted.
Yeah, I think there are choices that you can make early chapters that will like then travel through to different chapters.
Well, it's entirely the symbolism of the game, though. Like the entire thing's to do with the butterfly effect. One choice affects every other choice.
Yeah, or it's just their way of showing that, hey, they'll remember this.
You didn't give him the food, he will remember. And then it has nothing to do with anything in the game. It's like, great, you're just going to act like a bit of a dick, but I can still get you to do what I want. Grumpy old man.
Yeah, and as far as I'm aware, I think they do like a better choice of The Walking Dead was like, if you're good to the person, yeah, they'll love you, but like if you make one bad choice, they'll just fucking hate you. It doesn't matter what that is. There seems to be a lot more statistics at play in
Yeah,
this one, as
there's
opposed to just
much
like, you know,
more variable choice option.
yeah. I mean, it's one of those games I'd be super interested to pick up if I were to get
Yeah,
PS4.
but I have been super interested in getting it. I've been wrestling with the should I get it, should I not get it, but fun employment means I can probably only afford to buy one game in the near future, and that's going to be Metal Gear 5.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that situation as well just now, where it's just like Halo 5's coming out soon, but you know, I don't know if there's anything else really I kind of want by the end of the year. Fallout 4 is obviously going to be for Therese, but
Oh, I'll very much be getting that game when it comes out as well, but there's not much that I can think of that's coming out. I'll do a quick check while you go through the rest of the news, see if there's anything interesting happening.
Angry Birds developer Rovio laid off 260 staff after.
Yes, I remembered reading about that and being confused as to why a super successful games destroyer would do that. I hate
Yeah,
what they've done to game.
apparently it's a
Damn
downsizing
games.
of like 38% of their actual employees. And, with Angry Birds 2 being the actual 16th iteration.
No, but it's only the second game, Mark.
No, it's the 16th.
No, it's in the title, Angry Birds 2. It's not called Angry Birds 16, it's called Angry Birds 2.
You would think that they would be, making a killing on that, but apparently, like, their toys and merchandise revenue has like fallen by almost half at the end of last year. Apparently, like I think the Guardian reported that like 43% of the revenue had been lost.
Hey, Mark, 2nd of October, Happy Home Designer, Animal Crossing.
I don't have a Wii U, so that's that's the 3DS one, isn't
it? I'll double check. I don't know. I just seen the title there. It is a 3DS game, Mark. It is a 3DS game.
I kind of need to go back to Animal Crossing because I'm fairly sure my town's probably looking like something from a zombie apocalypse at this point. But
anyway, you were saying.
It's a very popular game in Japan, that one, and actually know the name in Japanese. So, because I had to look that up because no one knew what it was. So it's called Domotsu no Mori, which means like animals of the forest or something. And then like apparently the only people that play that in Japan are like junior high school girls. So
I always told you were a junior high school girl, Mark. For years I've been telling you you're damn.
All the boys would come up and ask me like, what are you playing? What are you playing? And I was like, I played Zelda. They're like, yeah, Zelda. And I'm like, and Domotsu no Mori. And they're like,
what?
You go talk to them. What else? A Game of War developer was arrested by the FBI and charged with stealing trade secrets.
Was it the phone number for Katie Upton?
That's industry secrets, is it?
Yeah, that's an industry secret.
Well, I am being called, but I am in the middle of a podcast, so I will have to phone him back. Yeah, apparently it was due to Zego's he's apparently being electronically monitored and awaiting a trial after posting $100,000 bail.
Wow.
If he's found guilty, he may be required to spend up to 10 years in jail and pay fines of up to $250,000.
Ouch.
Doesn't actually say what it's stolen though. Apparently, he's threatening to distribute confidential Game of War player data if superiors didn't offer him a suitable severance package. Games industry! Yay!
But looking at the roster for the rest of the year, nothing particularly interesting jumps out at me. There's Mario Maker, Mad Max, Phantom Pain, Rock Band 4 that you would care about, but I don't particularly care about that. I would care about if it wasn't the fact they'd already destroyed the series. There's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Fallout, Uncharted Collection. You love Just Dance 2016. Crapple Halo 5.
Halo 5 I'm actually looking forward to. But
that's about it. Apart from that, towards the end of the year, it tapers off.
Maybe
at the end of the year, you got Just Cause 3 at the end of the year, but that's about it. And
yeah, that's
Rainbow
like December,
Six
isn't it?
Siege. Yeah, December 1st, and Rainbow Six Siege. which I like the idea of, but it seems super limited, like such a narrow scope, but a lot of variation within that little scope. Like the way you can play that single attack and defend kind of model.
Let's see what else I have in the news. Konami's closing 31 of its paid apps in Japan, but saving
That's to
some
make space for
free
it. That's to make space for the new Silent Hill and Metal Gear apps.
with the pachinko apps that they've got.
Yep.
coming
Those
out.
pachinko apps.
So that'll be interesting to see
All
what
the
the hell happens.
microtransactions.
But yeah, weren't they saying they were going to make more Metal Gear Solid stuff for phones or something? Wasn't that a thing?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they said one of the apps that we're going to be making was like a roulette machine, or not roulette machine,
Pachinko.
Yeah, pachinko machine. Don't know why I said roulette there. I was thinking pachinko. Don't know why I said roulette. Like
Pachinko.
Metal Gear pachinko.
No doubt.
That?
No doubt. But I think they're making an actual Silent Hill one. Like that was the big announcement for the iterations. The series was, yeah, we're gonna make Silent Hill pachinko machine. But the weird part is Japan totally eats that up. Like when when we were over there, there's literally a program on every week, like that reviews new pachinko.
The
machines.
pachinko cast.
Like no, not like on TV. Like people, like, because if you've ever seen Japanese TV, it's people watching other people do stuff. It's people watching reviews of new pachinko machines that are coming out. So it's real fucking weird.
Fair enough.
Do you have us open in our window?
No.
You sure? Because I heard an echo there.
Yeah, I definitely only have one open.
That's weird.
I've been looking, but I can't hear myself, which is weird. Are you sure you don't have me opening our window and you're actually causing feedback that I'm hearing that you're hearing because of that?
Positive. I only have one window open, and that's you.
I have many tabs open, but I only have one Hangout open.
That's weird. Do you have YouTube open?
No.
Okay.
I have lots of PSO stuff, some job stuff, some stuff relating to my laptop, and Netflix.
Maybe we're on Netflix now. We're just not be told about it. That's
maybe we're live casting on Netflix.
So after their big investment with Daredevil, we're the next thing on Netflix. That's exactly what. it is.
Yep. Headset abuse brought to you by Netflix.
See what else we got in here. Assassin's Creed Syndicate is coming out 4 weeks after console versions on PC for optimization. Was the PC version of Unity fucked? Was that what's happened? I thought it was all versions of Unity that were.
I think all versions of that were fucked. I don't think it was a particular PC thing. It was just crap. I
have a copy of that sitting in a drawer that has been practically untouched.
Good for you.
So it'd be interesting to see what that is. Let's see.
Something did come to my head that I wanted to say, but I can't remember what it is now. Then we kind of got sidetracked there and made me forget what I was going to say.
The picture of Michael Fassbender as the new Assassin's Creed character in the movie.
That's what I was going to say, because Assassin's Creed related. That a fan decided to hire the voice actor that played Ezio and re-record a whole bunch of the really crappy dialogue that was said in that game to make it better.
In what one? Unity?
I can't remember what game it was for, because I don't think Ezio was in Unity, was he? Was he only not in Brotherhood and 2?
I'm not sure. Unless it was, because I know Ezio's supposed to be in. Remember the 2D China side-scrolling one? I know he's supposed to be in that. Could possibly
maybe it was for that, because it had a picture of the female assassin as well, and she's the hero of that one, isn't she?
Could possibly.
So it could be for that game. They hired the guy that did Ezio voice work and come to redo his lines in a better manner. GG fans, GG.
Real weird. Let's see. Cliff Bleszinski's new game got announced. Cliff Bleszinski, the guy behind Gears of War. It's called Lawbreakers. It's set on Earth after a catastrophic earthquake where the gravity's gone wonky.
Of course, because that's what earthquakes do. They cause wonky gravity.
It's a that's
It's
what
a
it's called,
well-known scientific
lawbreakers.
fact.
That's what it's called, lawbreakers, because they're breaking the laws of gravity. So they haven't shown any gameplay yet. There was just a CG trailer that got put out the other day. There, I want to say maybe Wednesday.
Yeah, it was about
Yep. The actual gameplay footage is going to be shown today. I think they're streaming it out on Twitch. So it'll be interesting what that looks like. Apparently, it's going to be a multiplayer shooter though. So why change the habit of a lifetime? He worked on Unreal Tournament, worked on Gears of War.
Yep.
Here's the next one. Double Fine announced a new game called Headlander. You seem to know more about this than I did.
I don't know a great deal about it, especially when I don't have any of my notes on me. So you give me what you've got, and I'll say yes or no.
It's apparently a 2D Metroidvania type game where you can swap bodies with people.
Yes.
So
That sounds about right.
There's
it's Double Fine, man. It's Double Fine. I love everything Double Fine have done of late, so I might give that a go. Plus, it's free to play, isn't it?
I'm not sure. They've not announced platforms, but they said it's coming out in 2016. So maybe free to play, but I'm guessing if it's coming out on consoles, probably not.
Pretty sure I read something about it being, free to play. See what I can find.
Okay. Valve said the first of its headsets are going to be going out on a limited release at the end of this year. The Vive, who's they partnering with that? Oh, it's HTC that they're partnering with that, and the rest of them are going to be coming out Q1 2016. You interested in VR, Darren?
I have a very strong interest in VR, but I think exactly like Google Glass, first generation is going to be absolutely abysmal, and it's going to need an iteration or two in order to actually be any good.
Does this beat Oculus? When's Oculus supposed to be out?
I don't think they've announced a date for that, but Morpheus.
Oh yeah, this is the first one, isn't it? It's like Oculus is going to be next year.
Morpheus is due out mid next year, I think.
It's going to be interesting to see how well that takes off and how
because they've not shown
performs.
anything as to how it performs yet. Like Microsoft done that whole reveal at E3, showing what it actually doesn't look like, and then a few people have got their hands on models and went, actually, it's this tiny little screen at the corner of your eye. It doesn't take up anywhere near the amount of vision that anyone would like. It doesn't have a good, width for screen or anything like that. It's a very, very narrow band of screen.
Yeah, the field of view was supposed to be really narrow for HoloLens. Is that what they're calling it? HoloLens?
Yes, that's right. But nothing has been shown from Morpheus that I can see. But hopefully it is from the looks of it. It's not like Google Glass, which is what HoloLens kind of looks like. You can see through it. It's kind of transparent. Morpheus appears more Oculus Rift. It has to cover your entire face.
Yeah, it's a VR headset, not an AR headset.
Yeah.
This one.
Which is more pleasing to me because I've seen or I've watched lots of cool little stuff on Twitch or various other streams of people playing VR games on Oculus Rift. So if they can achieve that with a high quality, which they will give good stuff, and looking forward to it. It's just a case of how's it going to work with the existing technologies, because if it's backwards compatible with all games, I could play Alien Isolation that way. I'd love it. Just need a good pair of headphones to get the super immersive effect.
Well, as far as I'm aware, the PC version is going to have Oculus support, so there's no reason why that can be ported to PS4, unless there's a power thing that they've not taken into account.
Yeah.
That half of these games are not going to be supported because of the power outage or whatever else.
Yeah, they weren't designed from the ground up. And the retrofitting might not be something that's even achievable for some of the games that are already out. But for some games like, let's take a quick look, Alien Isolation, Destiny to an extent, I suppose, Metal Gear games, and Wolfenstein, I guess they'd be all kind of cool to play on a VR headset.
I guess you got your stuff like Everybody's Gone to the Rapture and
games like that would be really
maybe
really
The
good.
Witness whenever that comes out, and Talos Principle, stuff like that. I think it's suited to a lot better slow movement games. I think when you're you know, when you start getting your Twitch FPSs, you're starting to get like into the realms of motion sickness after that.
No, I think it'd be okay. I think there'd be a jarring, oh, I don't know about this at first, but it's like anything, your body adjusts to it. You get used to it, and you'd be lying down in bed with your headphones and your VR headset or whatever, just going, ah, die, scum. You don't even notice it.
Well, I personally will not be doing that. So that's...
Or like, you know, if Double Fine get around to making Iron Brigade 2, you could play VR headsets Iron Brigade. Iron Brigade VR.
But then how do you see the salutes? How do you or the hats? How do you see the hats? That's you know, you need to think these things through, Darren.
You get to see what your teammates are wearing, and they get to, you know, or you know, there's a status screen where you can see a preview of yourself before you go back into main mode.
Well, I guess we'll
It
find
doesn't
out.
have to be. It doesn't all have to be through the eyes of the person. It can, you know, you can still have a third-person game where you're just, you know, got the screen like right up against your face for more immersion.
Is that well? In that case, then why don't you just walk right up to your TV? You know, it's more immersive.
Yeah, so you can see the pixelization in that. No, this is designed for no pixelization that close to your face. That's how you're getting such high resolution so close to your face. If you walk up to your TV, even at 1080p, you look at it close enough, you can see the pixels.
We'll see what these things are actually like. I suppose by the end of the year and early next. But do you think it's going to take off?
I would love it to take off, but unless it's got good games behind it, and unless the technology is implemented well, it's going to die a death again. VR has never been a thing in the past.
I think there's also a massive issue with price as well. They've got to hit that sweet spot, or otherwise people just aren't going to buy it.
Yeah, that's true, but if the technology is good enough and the games supporting are good enough, you can justify a high price point. Like, you know, if you've got the games, like if you get things like Everyone's Gone to the Rapture, you know, it's not my style of game, but for that type of game, a VR headset would be immense because it just draws you in so much more to that world. But if it's, you know, if it's all third person platformers or whatever, you're going to kind of lose something from there. It's not quite as immersive.
Let me tell you about a game called Azura's Wrath.
No, Mark, that game wouldn't work. It would work for a lot of first-person
prompt on the screen.
Yeah, they just have a sudden like, oh Jesus, giant B button. Like, you know, for some games, like for some first-person shooters, I think it could work. For games like Alien Isolation, it would definitely work because it's very slow-paced. You're already in the character's perspective. It becomes a lot more dark, a lot more intimate, and every noise is amplified because you've got a decent pair of headphones on. Or if, I can't remember if the Morpheus comes pre-built with headphones. It might actually have pre-built-in headphones.
I'm not sure.
I think it might have headphones.
I know Oculus doesn't. I'm not sure about the Vibe.
I'll double check about Morpheus. I think it might have headphones.
But I know some of the more successful games on Steam.
No, it does not. It does not have headphones.
Why? When Sony sell their own brand of headphones that you can buy to go along with it.
But that's the point. It's like, you can buy your Project Morpheus headphones to go along with it. They plug directly into the system.
And your controllers that you'll need to buy, your Morpheus specific controllers.
No, there won't be Morpheus specific controllers. They'll work with the PlayStation controllers already exist. Otherwise, they're just, you know, talking their way into people not buying stuff.
Yeah, remember the Move though?
Yeah, I didn't say it was a good idea. I just said, you know, that having a special... Look, that wasn't intended to work with other existing products. That was a product that was intended to work like Morpheus by itself. And
do you remember when they announced that though? They were like, "Oh, it'll work with everything. Like games will be so revolutionized because of it." And then
I seen that and went, "What the hell are you thinking, Sony? That's just a terrible idea. Like, you're not Nintendo. No one wanted that from Nintendo in the first place. Why are you in this route? That was a mistake."
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see A, how these things are marketed, B, the price points, and like C if they actually use the technology well enough to actually get like an upkeep in like, you know, sales and community and actually developers like wanting to put that shit in their games.
Yep. Very interesting to see.
But yeah, that's all the news that I have.
That's all you've got.
Yep, that's it. That is a slow fucking week for news. So hopefully more will happen in the next week. I know PAX is happening right now, so maybe we'll get something out of someone. I
Well,
don't know.
EGX is coming up in a week, is it not?
Is that soon?
I think so. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure I got an email about EGX yesterday. EGX.
I know it's normally like early-ish
Oh no,
September.
I'm totally wrong. It's a month away. I misread that email. I thought it said in a week. It must have said a month. 24th to 27th of September.
All right, okay. So if we're gonna get anything, it might be there. But
Well, you might get a little bit of news at PAX, but I don't think much is going to come out of that particular PAX. It's just one of the smaller ones. Nothing usually gets announced unless it's the big PAX.
people are trying to get their games out. It's getting to heavy game season with September and November rush. So
Yes, I'll get them all out for in time for Christmas.
no one's got
It's the
time
game
for
they-
news.
Yeah.
But we did not have access to the email account this week. Ali's not here. But if you want to email us for next week to ask your questions, it is headsetabuse@hotmail.co.uk, and we will read them on air if you want to email us.
And if you want to join Mark and I on PSO, message me at ZiggyPredicts on Twitter. I'll tell you how to get it set up, and you can join us in a challenge mode because we could use a 12-man team for that stuff.
Indeed, we could, and that is the most important part. We need to get that Headset Abuse team up and running.
Don't worry about running behind, because when challenge mode, everyone starts at level 1 every time you do it. You lose all your items, so we'll all be starting from the same place.
Exactly. We'll get the audio version of this up fairly soon.
I had a lot of stuff happening last week, so the audio version got delayed last week, but it will be up tomorrow morning at the latest.
Yeah, if you get me that, and I will get that up as quick as possible. And that's going to do it for this week. Ali will be back next week. He says he's off, although we may have to shift about dates because you're busy next Friday, and I think I may be too.
I'm away for an interview next Friday with a big job company, so I'll not be here for our usual spot. So unless we do it Thursday or Saturday.
Well, that depends because
I
also have stuff. So we'll see how that goes.
Worst comes to worst, it can be Ali by himself.
Yeah, keep an eye on.
Ali, what have you been doing, Ali? Well, Ali, I've been doing this. Thanks, Ali.
You mean like every podcast he's on? So we'll be back next week. Keep track of our Headset Abuse Facebook page and our Twitter, which is Headset Abuse. Also, if you want to, you can like the video below this. And until then, we'll be back next week. Say bye, Darren.
Bye, Darren.